surprise comes as the president faces blistering criticism.
The impeachment battle is going on. Are we going to see more overseas trips that give him these kind of photo op?
I didn't like the way the president handled this.
So far, he hasn't demonstrated he knows much about what's going on.
Well, Democrats in the media not taking a time out over Thanksgiving, going after the president over his Thanksgiving visit to see troops in Afghanistan. This, as the Washington Post calls it, just a photo op, accusing the president of striving to, quote unquote, look hard at work. Here to react, Trump 2020 National Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany. I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving weekend. How are you?
I did. I'm doing great. Thanks, Ed.
Well, what in the world is going on here when you can't visit men and women in uniform and thank them for their service?
It's amazing. This is the Trump-obsessed media. Anything and everything he does will always be wrong. They can't tolerate when he does something good. But here is what they do. In the process of this reporting, that Washington Post headline, the Newsweek story about the president tweeting and golfing when he was actually in Afghanistan, here's what they do. The media delegitimizes themselves repeatedly. The American people look at headlines like this and they say, let the guy do a good thing. Report on it straight. Don't try to, off-color or discolor what is a very good, positive story on Thanksgiving.
And what about the fact that House Democrats are now moving forward on impeachment this week as the president is doing another part of his job as commander-in-chief, which is heading to London to work at a NATO summit and tackle some big national security issues?
It's shameful. As you've noted, there has been a precedent that we don't criticize presidents when they are overseas, much less pursue a coup against a sitting president. And that's what this is. This was never about the facts. Adam Schiff engaged in such a sham when he says he hasn't made up his mind about impeachment. But nevertheless, here we are on this fast track. This is a coup against a sitting president of the United States without evidence, without facts. And that is why the polling is going south on this. So it's despicable they're doing this, particularly while the president is overseas.
I can't have you leave without asking about the No Malarkey tour that the former vice president is launching. He says that there's a lot of lies out there. I don't know if he's pointing at his fellow Democrats and or the president. What's your reaction to Joe Biden, who's struggling in Iowa right now, going out on a bus for 8 days?
Yeah, safe to say no bus tour, and certainly not one titled the No Malarkey Tour, is going to save the fledgling Joe Biden candidacy. He was on his way south. He's falling in the polls, overtaken by novices like the mayor, Pete Buttigieg. So, Joe's desperate to save his campaign, but it's about over. And the socialists now are the crowning nominees, I think, of the Democrat Party.
Kayleigh, real quick, we've seen the debate numbers, also the ratings go down for Democrats. Michael Bloomberg is probably not going to qualify for them, but there are some saying maybe that's a good idea for him to stay out of that kind of mess there on the left, as you suggest. But what about Kamala Harris and some of the other sort of bright lights of the left that seem to be fading?
Yeah, Kamala Harris is now in single digits. She was the wonder girl of the Democrat Party. You'll know CNN Jeff Zucker held a breakfast for her, introducing her to New York City bigwigs. But now the wonder girl of the left is a failing candidate in single digits. There's a flavor of the week every day in the Democrat Party. We had one candidate that we loved and we kept at the top, and that was President Trump. Democrats have nothing of the sort.
All right. Kayleigh McEnany, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.